So here's a little bit more on why we love this deal and why we're excited here to present this to you. So one, we found this deal completely off market. Like we mentioned, it was same developer. Actually, I'm not sure if Eric mentioned that, but so one, we're buying it straight from the developer. So the property's never been sold before. And it's the same developer that we actually purchased our other deal in Rapid City from. So we're familiar with him. We know how he manages his properties, and we weren't competing with anybody. Second thing is the growth potential that I talked about, right? The city itself is experiencing a ton of growth. And then the fact that it's currently rents where we know we can easily come in and get these higher rents. And I say we know because one of the things we did when we negotiated our PSA with the seller is we are getting these rents. We're having him get these rents on renewals. So every renewal, the entire time we've had it under contract, the seller has been implementing our business plan essentially. We've done this before and been very successful with it, where we essentially just get the seller to start implementing our business plan. So when we close, we already got a head start. Path of progress, I already spoke about that quite a bit, and you'll hear more about it. But like I mentioned, Rapid City has got a lot of good fundamentals, a lot of growth, and it's off the radar. Hence why we've been able to come in at a pretty low basis for a deal like this. And then the low risk debt. So we're going in with a agency fixed loan. The Fed raising rates or what's going to happen with the rates moving forward, that's not going to be a concern for us. Come in, fixed agency, long-term debt, which lowers the risk. You can go to the next one, Brian.
Actually, George, I wanted to add something real quick. You talked about,
Sure.
Buying directly from the developer, and, it's become a niche of ours, right? We bought our deal in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, straight from the developer. We bought a deal in Houston, straight from the developer. And then this is our second deal here in South Dakota, buying direct from the developer. But this was actually a legacy property for them. They never intended to sell this deal, and they wanted to keep it in their family. And what does that mean usually, right? Usually legacy properties, when you keep them in the family, they have to maintain pretty conservative because they never want occupancy to drop, right? Here it's, kind of a catch-22 because, demand is so high and occupancy is so high. But, and George kind of alluded to it and talked about it, is that rents were, low. They weren't really increasing or pushing rents. And I'm not sure who convinced them to sell. I think there was a family change, and they changed and they decided to sell. We were able to come in off market. So just another plus. We're always looking for like these off the radar, off the market type of deals where we can come in and take advantage of these opportunities where not necessarily you would if it was on the market, right? So I think that's huge, right? Not only were we buying from the developer, but it was going to be one of their legacy properties. They treated this thing like their baby. I mean, there was no deferred maintenance on here. And we'll talk about all this stuff in more detail, but I wanted to point that out because I think it's important, right? A lot of people say, well, how'd you find the deal? Well, that's how we found the deal. We found it directly from the developer. And not only that, this is like their crown jewel of their property. It's their last one. They were never going to sell it. So anyway, I just wanted to add that because I think that's important.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Eric.